Dark Schneider, he's a powerful wizard who was known as a demon throughout the world. However, after a long battle, he was sealed inside a boy to prevent his powers from being used. When one day that seal is unleashed to the world once again, Dark Schneider reincarnates to get revenge. 400 years ago, humanity was thriving. Cities flourished, knowledge expanded, and people lived in relative peace and prosperity. Yet, beneath this veneer of success, humans harbored deep envy, distrust, and deceit within their hearts. These festered, eventually leading to their downfall. Karma struck back, enveloping the world in an era of darkness that overwhelmed their once great prosperity. Humanity, desperate to rectify its mistakes, attempted to harness this dark power to eliminate strife and restore peace. However, the darkness soon realized that humans were inherently flawed and incapable of true redemption. As humanity teetered on the brink of extinction, a miraculous event occurred. A great pillar of light erupted from the ground, shooting towards the sky. From this light emerged a dragon-like figure carrying a mighty sword. This dragon was the sworn enemy of the darkness. The battle between the dragon and the darkness was cataclysmic, sinking many continents and resulting in the deaths of millions. Over time, the story of this epic battle was passed down through generations, though it was often altered and embellished. Now, 400 years later, the kingdom of Metallicana, located on the central Metallian continent, is in turmoil. Humans are engaged in a fierce and losing battle against an onslaught of monsters, orcs, and goblins. The kingdom's forces are being systematically crushed by these relentless foes. In the midst of this chaos, the humans are desperately trying to protect their princess, Sheila, who is secured within a cathedral. The Dark Rebel army, led by a powerful dark wizard, continues its relentless advance, threatening to destroy everything in its path. Tia Noto Yoko, the daughter of a great priest, and Lucian, a seemingly timid young man, are also present at the cathedral, watching over the whole scene. However, the pathetic boy is currently crying by grabbing his elder sister's leg and appealing to her to get out of there because he is scared. Yoko is also scared from the inside, but she is trying to be strong for her pathetic little brother. To clean his tears, she gives him her dirty handkerchief. In the meantime, Yoko recalls a scene from her and Lucian's past. She remembers that her little brother is actually a reincarnation of a great ancient wizard, Dark Schneider. Her father taught her a secret spell meant to be used only in times of dire need. This spell has the power to awaken Lucian's second identity and can convert an innocent and scared little boy into a powerful, unbeatable wizard. Once awakened, Schneider possesses the ability to annihilate their enemies with his powerful magic. But it has a special condition. In order to strengthen the spell even more, it requires a kiss from an used maiden. Yoko's father requests her to be a good girl till the time of wizard awakening has arrived. This is why Yoko has maintained her purity and has never even seen a cucumber in her life. In the cathedral, Lucian, being a naughty kid, tries to clean Yoko's handkerchief. For this, he runs towards the washroom. On his way, he bumps into a gigantic and muscular soldier. The soldier grabs him from his shirt, lifts him up, and scolds him for being a pain in his head. Yoko quickly reaches there and protects Lucian from the soldier. She gets frustrated, so she scolds him because he doesn't feel bad or doesn't get angry when people scold him. Suddenly, the cathedral starts shaking due to the impact of the fight happening outside. The soldier informs Princess Sheila that their defeat is imminent. The situation appears hopeless. Yoko and Lucian were also seeing all this and they start crying like pathetic losers. Despite her serious demeanor, Yoko cares for Lucian a lot. In the meantime, Princess Sheila remembers the story of the ancient wizard that Yoko's father told her when she was young. She comes near scared Yoko, kneels down and asks Yoko about the ancient wizard. She only knows that the wizard is sealed somewhere in this city, but she doesn't know that Lucian is the Dark Schneider. Listening to Princess Sheila, all the soldiers also gather around Yoko and Lucian and plead with Yoko to help them because only the legendary wizard can protect the city. She tries to kiss Lucian, but as an elder sister, this is too embarrassing for her. Finally, the Dark Wizard Osborne and his monstrous forces close in by destroying the main gate and front wall of the cathedral. Suddenly, the three ministers from Princess Sheila's side start pleading with the Dark Wizard. They spilled that they were the ones who made the way to let the Dark Lord in, and now they want the Dark Lord to spare them as he promised. The Dark Wizard devilishly orders his two gigantic monsters to crush the ministers. By following his orders, the monsters killed the ministers by stomping their foot on them. And well, it wasn't much of a battle considering the humans was wiped out in less than a second. The cathedral's building is shaking, chaos is everywhere. Meanwhile, this useless girl Yoko is still embarrassed to kiss Lucian, so you know everyone is just going to be sacrificed at this rate. As the monster initiates to attack Yoko, Lucian pushes Yoko away and takes the attack on himself. He becomes unconscious and his head starts bleeding. Seeing her brother unconscious, Yoko starts crying loudly and brings unconscious Lucian to a corner. Now Yoko knows what she has to do. Despite feeling embarrassed, she decides to perform the spell and wakes up the legendary ancient wizard. First, she performs the spell and then she kisses Lucian, awakening the fearsome Dark Schneider. A dark, terrifying aura begins to emanate from Lucian, striking fear even into the heart of the Dark Wizard. Soon, the innocent wimpy kid turns into a huge, powerful wizard. He has tan skin, white long hairs, long pointed teeth, wide devilish eyes, and a toned muscular body. Right after converting, he starts scolding the priest who incarnated him into a baby. The Dark Wizard doesn't know him yet, so he mistakenly orders his 2 gigantic ogres to attack Dark Schneider. With a simple gesture, Schneider reduces 2 attacking ogres to ashes. Seeing his powerful ogres turning into ashes with just a single spell, the Dark Wizard gets terrified because this is the most powerful ancient spell and only a few powerful wizards know about it. Yoko, her eyes widened in shock, asks if he is really her innocent Lucian. Dark Schneider reassures Yoko that, despite being an evil wizard, he is still her friend, Lucian. Also, Yoko is the one who awakened him, so he is thankful to her. However, Schneider's primary concern is Yoko's safety, and tells the rest of them that they can go basically off themselves. After learning about the Dark Schneider, the eyes of Princess Sheila and the old minister widen in shock. They quickly recognize that he is the same Dark Schneider who was the mastermind of the same golem war that ravaged all of Metallicana 15 years ago. He fought against Prince Lars of the Five Knights and used the dark art of reincarnation to cheat death. Princess Sheila's brother also lost his life in that battle. Dark Schneider grabs Yoko and confirms that she is still able to stand or not. The soldiers ask him to save their kingdom. Dark Schneider starts laughing devilishly and says that he doesn't owe anyone anything. So, he will only save Yoko and let everyone die here. Listening to Dark Schneider, Yoko gets angry. She scolds Dark Schneider for being cold-blooded. Seeing Yoko in this manner, Dark Schneider becomes scared and shuts his ears. Yoko then demands him to destroy their enemies and save the kingdom. Dark Schneider agrees because he owes so much to Yoko. Listening to Schneider, Yoko becomes very excited and starts treating him like a kid. Osborne is also seeing to all this. He becomes angry for wasting his time and refuses to accept Lucian as Dark Schneider and orders his army to attack that overconfident wizard. Schneider, with a single devastating spell, turns the whole monster army into a gruesome pile of blood. Enraged and desperate, the Dark Wizard, Osborne, decides to unleash his strongest spell, which is the lightning spell. To get Osborne's pathetic hopes up, he pretends to be weak and be burnt due to Osborne's spell, and his ass has the nerve to hit Schneider with his wooden weapon, thinking he did something. However, Schneider comes back in his form and tells his worthless ass that doesn't even count as a warm-up, obliterating Osborne with a merciless spell. This spell becomes Schneider's sword and, in a blink, the Dark Wizard converts into ashes. Everyone's faces widen in shock because they have never seen such a scene in their entire life. Princess Sheila, grateful for their salvation, tries to thank Lucian, but he brushes her off and focuses on Yoko. He demands a more personal thanks from her. Yoko embarrassingly thanks him. She then tries to convince Schneider to come back in Lucian's form. At that very moment, Yoko notices that Schneider is missing. Yoko goes after and finds him wandering the streets, filled with a new determination. He declares his intention to defeat Yoko's father and then wage a war to conquer the world. Yoko is shocked and dismayed by Lucian's words. She doesn't believe that he was a little wimpy kid. She feels like her little Lucian is gone. Suddenly, she looks into Schneider's eyes and finds out that is attracted to him. She is suddenly pulled into a passionate kiss. This act inadvertently breaks and reactivates the spell, transforming Schneider back into the innocent and wimpy Lucian. Lucian, now confused and unaware of his actions as Schneider, simply feels hungry. Yoko, despite the whirlwind of events, decides to take him home, leaving the battlefield behind. As they walk away, the future of Metallicana and the fate of the world remain uncertain, hanging in the balance of light and dark. The news of Osborne's death shocked his friends even more because he was killed by a venom spell, a deadly magic that only one person could use, and that person had died 15 years ago. Determined to find the new venom user, they decided to send Kevajubu, the Hydra tamer, to investigate. They discussed the venom user while standing in front of the burning Judah's kingdom, which they had destroyed moments ago. Yoko had a terrifying dream where she saw Schneider killing her father and destroying the world. She woke up to find Lucian sleeping beside her. She thought that maybe the dream came due to Lucian's presence beside her, but she ignored the thought and cutely played with Lucian's cheek while he was asleep. The next morning, as Yoko and Lucian are having breakfast, Yoko advises Lucian to eat slowly as he is not chewing the bite properly. Suddenly, Yoko sensed something ominous. She and Lucian go outside and see dark clouds moving towards their city. Suddenly, the Grand Priest, who happens to be Yoko's father, appears behind her. Yoko informs him about the black clouds approaching them. The Grand Priest indicates that it is a bad omen and looks into Lucian's innocent eyes. He is worried for both the town and Lucian. This is why he considers waking Dark Schneider again if things get out of control. A soldier who successfully escaped the Judah's war arrives in the castle of Metallicana Kingdom. He meets with the king and informs him about their defeat. He further informs them about the enemy and that the army consists of a vast number of demi-humans and monsters. Their wizards bombarded them with powerful spells. Their king Glenn was so powerful but even he couldn't stand them. He further warns the king that the enemy is now marching toward the kingdom of Metallicana. Soon, Grand Priest Gio arrives at the castle. He then bows in front of the king and informs him about the situation. He tells the king about the black cloud that is steadily covering the kingdom. The black clouds are not natural. They occurred due to the black magic of evil magic. Then Yoko bows and greets the king and princess. The king quickly recognizes Yoko as the fair lady who defeated the dark wizard and his forces. Then the king asks about Lucian. Lucian doesn't know about the manners of the castle and this is why he looks confused. Yoko forcefully bows his head in front of the king and princess and introduces him as Lucien Renlen. At the very moment, Princess comes near Yoko and Lucian and thanks them for saving her and the kingdom's life. Yoko informs Princess Sheila that Lucian doesn't remember anything after transforming back. The Grand Priest Gio tells the council about recent events, including the Dark Rebel army and increasing demi-human and monster activities. Caves, forests, and swamps around Metallicana have seen increased demi-humans and monster activity in recent months. The cause is the evil energy flowing from the darkness. Then there is the sudden appearance of the Dark Rebel army and the supernatural black thunderclouds. Grand Priest Gio further indicates that the demon god Anthrasax is about to be resurrected. All the council members' eyes widened with sudden shock and fear. By telling all this, Grand Priest Gio points out that they should be prepared for a hazardous fight that is going to happen soon. Meanwhile, Kevajubu arrives in the kingdom of Metallicana with his Hydra. Hydra is a red-colored dragon with 5 heads, 3 legs, and a long tail. It is huge in size and emits fire from every head. Kevajubu is very anxious to meet the person who uses venom spells and who has guts to kill a 200-year-old demon, Osborne. He is visiting every street, every corner to find Dark Schneider. As he visits any street, he creates chaos by ordering Hydra to emit fire and destroy everything. The news of Kevajubu's arrival is quickly spreading across the kingdom. A soldier hurriedly arrives at a castle and informs the king about a Hydra that has breached the east gate. He further tells him that the Hydra spews fire and runs amok. As he tells everyone about Hydra, the soldiers start sweating and shivering in fear. The Grand Priest Gio tells everyone that a Hydra is like a monster that would not come to the city by its own will and a powerful magician must have brought it. He suggests waking Dark Schneider in order to defeat Hydra. Everyone likes Grand Priest Gio's suggestion and starts talking about Dark Schneider. The soldiers start begging Yoko to wake Dark Schneider again. Yoko warns everyone that Dark Schneider is not a normal guy or a hero. He is very dangerous. He is evil, cruel, sadistic, and vulgar. He is actually a villain who doesn't care about others. But the Grand Priest is sure that he has to wake Dark Schneider up. He tells her that this is their last chance. Other than that, all they know is healing and defense magic. They need a powerful wizard's magic to win against these monsters and magicians. Yoko starts asking about her purity and dignity. The Grand Priest Gio slowly tells her that it is just a matter of a single kiss. It will not affect her purity or dignity. Yoko becomes angrier because of how a father can say something like this to her daughter. On the other hand, Kevajubu continues his destruction, calling forth the venom user. He orders his Hydra to destroy the whole town. He even calls Dark Schneider a coward because he is not coming out to rescue his people. The council members suddenly hear the loud voices of the buildings being demolished. They all start crying loudly and screaming because on one hand, Yoko is not ready to wake Dark Schneider, and on the other hand, Kevajubu is not stopping. In fact, with every second, he is becoming more cruel because he is getting more anxious to meet the venom user. After seeing all this, Yoko decides to summon Dark Schneider. She looks into Lucian's eyes to concentrate, but the thought of Dark Schneider makes her blush. Little Lucian notices her red cheeks and asks her. Yoko hides her face and straightforwardly refuses from accepting that she is embarrassed. She also scolds Lucian that he is distracting her. Like this, she won't be able to cast spells properly. She tells Lucian to sit down quietly. As Lucian sits, she starts casting spells and then kisses him. In an instant, Dark Schneider wakes up. He seems happy because he is free once again. As Schneider wakes up, everyone starts ordering him to destroy the enemy while his only focus is Yoko. The ministers try to offer him valuables if he saves him, but Schneider straightforwardly refuses. Yoko is worried because she knew this would be dangerous, and this time, he returned becoming even more evil than last time. The ministers try to use their power and position and scold Dark Schneider for not obeying their orders. Dark Schneider denies this time also by stating his actual wish. He wants to rule the world. Then he turns his fangs towards the Grand Priest Geo and demands his head on a platter because he is the one who trapped him in a baby's body. By listening to all this, the soldiers become angry and try to seize Dark Schneider. But before the soldiers can do anything, he burns them by using his magic spells. After burning the soldiers alive, he turns toward Grand Priest Geo. Dark Schneider wants to kill Grand Priest Geo because 15 years ago, he was those 5 heroes who defeated him right when he was about to conquer the world. And Grand Priest Geo was the one who sealed him using a cleric when Dark Schneider used the dark art of reincarnation to escape death. The presence of Schneider terrified the Hydra and Kevajubu, who were miles away. As Schneider was about to launch his attack, Yoko scolded him, stopped his attack, and punched a bump on his head. Yes, the most powerful wizard in history was defeated by a single punch and even made him cry. After some time, Schneider started charging his attack again and launched a lighting spell toward the Grand Priest, but Grand Priest Geo easily defended it with an anti-magic barrier. He is God's protection and nobody can defeat him until he has the anti-magic barrier. But every good thing has a flaw too. The anti-magic barrier protects him from any sort of magic, but the Great Priest can't even use his magic as long as he is in the protection bubble. Then Dark Schneider decides to use the physical combat. But this plan is also not workable because Great Priest Geo is both a cleric and a fighter. After all, he is a monk. Also, he is a rank 120 Holy Steel Fist Black Belt. In comparison to the Great Priest, Dark Schneider is a little weak in physical combat, so he decides to give up on this plan. Without a catalyst, Dark Schneider's spells are limited. Dark Schneider hides his face and stands still for some time. On the other hand, Yoko knows that there is some sort of plan cooking in Dark Schneider's mind. With no other tricks left, Schneider decides to summon the golem locked in the castle's basement with his blood. He cuts his wrist and lets the blood flow throughout the floors of the castle. Everyone tries to stop him, but he doesn't listen to anyone. This is the same golem that he used 15 years ago. He summons the golem because his one kick is equal to millions of tons. So, this will be perfect to kill Grand Priest Geo. Suddenly, the ministers and soldiers start blaming Yoko for awakening Dark Schneider. Yoko wanted to do something but was too scared to move. She keeps standing in her place, watching everyone getting killed by the golem and Dark Schneider. She becomes emotional, thinking that this is not his Lucian because this Dark Schneider loves to kill people. He doesn't even think for once before doing this. On the other hand, Lucian is innocent, wimpy, caring, sweet, kind, and loves people. Yoko's sweet memory gets interrupted by a huge explosion. Kevajubu and Hydra smash the front wall of the castle and enter the council room. Kevajubu looks toward Dark Schneider and immediately recognizes him as the Venom spell user. Kevajubu then introduces himself as the disciple of the great magician who will rule the world, Lord Kalsu, and then challenges Schneider. Every person present in the council starts shivering by hearing the name of Lord Kalsu except Dark Schneider. He is only focusing on one thing, the little cut on his finger which is given by Kevajubu. Schneider starts roasting Kevajubu by calling him an ugly face that looks like a big gilled fish face. Drenching in insult, Kevajubu orders Hydra to kill Dark Schneider. His attack is interrupted by the golem. Schneider's golem ended Hydra's life without breaking a sweat. Furious, the fish-faced bastard attacks Schneider, but the dark wizard punches him right in the face, showing him his place. Kevajubu begins jumping and shouting in pain. Schneider then ends Kevajubu's miserable life with a venom spell and then orders the golem to smash the Grand Priest with its foot. However, Yoko jumped on Schneider, crying, and the golem froze. Yoko started begging Schneider to give her Lucian back. But the wizard explained that Dark Schneider and Lucien Renlen were two different forms and identities sharing the same soul. If one died, the other would die too, and what Lucian loved, he loved too. Yoko didn't believe Schneider and started crying. To make Yoko believe him, Dark Schneider decided to get back to his normal form, so he kissed her and sealed himself back into Lucian. Lucian returned to his normal self, and Yoko was overjoyed to see him again. With the return of Lucian, the golem stopped and shut down. She then hugged Lucian tightly, happy to have him back. As Lucian returns to his old self, Yoko is thrilled to see him again, her heart swelling with relief and happiness. Standing beside Yoko are King and Princess Sheila. who confirm with grave expressions that the person they saw earlier was undoubtedly the Dark Wizard, Dark Schneider. Meanwhile, Master Gara of the Dark Rebel Army receives the news of Kevajubu's death. His colleagues inform him about the venom aura that is coming from the castle. He smirks, his eyes glinting with a mixture of satisfaction and anticipation, knowing that Dark Schneider has returned. He tells everyone about the story of him and Dark Schneider when they were in the same team. 15 years ago, Dark Schneider led Gara and 3 others in a relentless campaign to conquer the world, waging a brutal 4-year-long war against 4 powerful kingdoms. One of Gara's subordinates nervously questions whether Schneider has changed, noting that he has been protecting the kingdom. Ninja Master Gara claims that if this is the thing, then Dark Schneider would be the strongest enemy they could face, an unstoppable force. Regardless of being a friend or foe, they will destroy anyone who stands in the way of the Dark Rebels. This is the unyielding motto of Ninja Master Gara and the Dark Ninja Army. Gara's troop is discovered by 2 of the Metallicana soldiers. They become attentive and ask Gara about their identity. Gara's ninja team vanished in an instant. Then Gara ruthlessly converts them into small pieces of flesh with just one swift slash of his katana. Back at the kingdom, the dark clouds have covered the whole sky of the kingdom and blocked the sun. The ministers, their faces pale and drawn, anxiously ask Geo if he is certain about his theory of the demon god's resurrection. Geo, with a grave nod, recounts the ancient events of centuries ago when the god of destruction, Anthrasax, was bound by 4 seals. When the first seal breaks, the demon god will awaken from its stasis, and the release of its immense energy will cause dark clouds to appear, shrouding the world in dread. These seals are guarded by 4 noble bloodlines, and Geo is certain that the first seal, guarded by the kingdom of Judas, has been broken. Humanity once again faces the dire threat of extinction. The ministers, drenched in sweat and visibly shaking, are terrified upon hearing the name of the demon god. Their fear intensifies with the mention of Kalsu, who is orchestrating the resurrection. Yoko, filled with concern, asks her father about Kalsu. Geo explains that Kalsu is a formidable magician and Dark Schneider's head disciple and closest friend, equally powerful as his master. Some say that he is even more powerful than his master. In the war, he fought on Dark Schneider's side. Meanwhile, Kalsu watches his priestess break the seal with a calm, determined gaze, planning his next move toward Metallicana, where the subsequent seal resides. Back in Metallicana, the terrified ministers desperately want to turn Yoko into a kissing machine, asking her to transform Lucian into Dark Schneider again. According to them, Kevajubu and his Hydra are only the vanguards and the real danger is about to come. They are nothing compared to the army that is about to come to the kingdom of Metallicana. To fight them, they need Dark Schneider's magic because he is the only one who is able to defeat them. The people of Metallicana only have healing powers, and with this, they can't fight such powerful enemies. This is why they are completely relying on Dark Schneider's powers. Yoko vehemently denies this idea, recalling the terrifying moment when Dark Schneider nearly attacked her father with powerful magical spells, a disaster narrowly averted by Kevajubu's intervention. Other than that, she doesn't want others to treat her and Lucian like their tools to whom they can turn on and off by their own will. While crying, she sits on the floor and hugs Lucian tightly. Lucian doesn't want Yoko to cry, so he wipes her tears, showing us the perfect friendship bond. At home, Yoko is more worried about her pure lips than the fate of her kingdom, a conflict that leaves her feeling selfish and confused. Lucian, sensing her distress, tries to cheer her up by playing with her for a brief moment before heading off to do the laundry. As Lucian leaves the room, Yoko envies Lucian because being a kid, he is completely calm, he has no worries, and he can enjoy his life to its fullest. Her sweet Delulu is interrupted by some voices. She goes out to check and finds out that the children of her neighbors are teasing and hitting Lucian for doing the laundry. Yoko quickly runs toward Lucian and protects him from these annoying children. She ensures Lucian that he is very strong because he is Dark Schneider. Lucian looks toward Yoko with sparkling eyes and then continues to do laundry. This reminds Yoko the sweet words of Dark Schneider that what Lucian loves, he loves too. At night, Yoko lies awake, closely looking at Lucian, her mind in turmoil, confused about which version of Lucian she loves. She remembers the harsh words that she said to Dark Schneider and feels sad. She pats Lucian's head and lays down near him. By looking closely at his face, she decides which version is really Lucian, the cruel, selfish, and cold-blooded Dark Schneider, or the sweet, kind, and caring kid. After thorough thinking, she comes to the conclusion that the sweet, innocent kid is the actual Lucian, and she is relieved. She promises herself that she will never let Lucian turn into Dark Schneider again. The Metallicana army is summoned urgently and the tension in the air is palpable. From the time when they learned of Kalsu's plan to resurrect the demon god, the castle went on high alert. The soldiers are more attentive than before. They are preparing themselves for every upcoming danger and are completely determined to save their kingdom. If Anthrasax for once comes back to life, all of humanity will be wiped out by its power. While the kingdom teeters on the brink of collective panic, the naive Princess Sheila feels a twinge of jealousy towards Yoko for having a personal legendary wizard. She is also embarrassed to see a naked man twice. She feels attracted to Dark Schneider because he has a charming personality. He is proud, uninhibited, and carefree. In another part of the kingdom, local soldiers discuss their current dire situation and the approaching of a dire human army at their border. The dire human army consists of orcs, goblins, and lizardmen from the swamps. Their conversation is abruptly cut short as they are attacked by Ninja Master Gaara, who efficiently wipes them out and stealthily enters Yoko's room. Yoko wakes up, startled, to see the intruder and, before Gaara can introduce himself, lands a quick, fierce kick on his jewels, followed by another on his neck. Gaara, though momentarily stunned, stands up, revealing his true, intimidating nature. He takes Yoko hostage, his grip firm and unyielding. Gaara demands to know the whereabouts of Dark Schneider, but Yoko remains defiant, refusing to speak. Gaara, growing impatient, decides to threaten her by lifting her dress from her thighs, but Yoko retaliates by kicking the perverted giant's head. The noise wakes Lucian, but Yoko, in a bid to protect him, orders him back to sleep. Gaara, undeterred, continues his mission, determined to prove himself. Yoko's scream finally awakens Dark Schneider. Schneider, his voice booming with authority, yells at Gaara, warning him to step back, threatening to send Gaara to hell if he harms Yoko. Gaara is both shocked and terrified at the sight of Schneider, realizing the gravity of his situation. Schneider explains to Yoko that the seal is weakening since she lifted it twice, allowing him to gain some control while Lucian sleeps. Suddenly, Gio bursts into the room, causing Gaara to flee, but not before taking Yoko with him on a wyvern. As they leave, Lucian regains control. Gaara takes Yoko to the ominous ninja fortress. The ministers, hearing that Lucian is safe, sigh in collective relief. Gio, however, rejects the idea of a frontal attack, insisting they need another unused maiden to summon Dark Schneider, who knows the location of the ninja fortress. Princess Sheila, seizing the moment, asks Gio to lift the seal. The king, concerned about royal protocol, denies Sheila, explaining that in royalty, a kiss signifies marriage, and he cannot allow her to marry a child. However, Sheila insists, claiming her actions are out of mercy for Yoko. This brave act earns her the admiration and respect of the council, except for her father. Gio, not one to be easily swayed, orders the ministers to escort the king out, and they eagerly comply, practically dragging the old man away. Gio then teaches the spell to Princess Sheila. Lucian, sensing something significant, leaps towards her and she calls him. Sheila begins chanting the spell with determination. As the spell ends, Dark Schneider appears, but he is visibly displeased, having been kissed by a random girl. Gio, desperate, begs Schneider to save Yoko, and the other ministers join in, pleading for him to stop the demon god's resurrection. Schneider, unmoved, refuses to help Yoko, instead picking up Sheila, declaring that once he conquers the world, he will have everything he desires. Sheila, furious at his selfishness, slaps Schneider hard, her defiance and courage shining through, leaving Schneider momentarily stunned and enraged. Sheila joins Schneider on the mission to rescue Yoko because she doesn't trust Schneider to be left alone. A troop of knights escorts them. They reach Grave Valley, where Gaara's base is. Inside the fortress, Gaara only wants to know how to unseal Schneider, but Yoko is afraid of being called a pet since she kissed a boy. Gaara asks her if she is in love with Schneider. As the troop moves forward, ninjas spy on them and launch a sneak attack. With one spell, Schneider knocks down the ninjas. He tells Sheila to remove her sword and armor if she doesn't want to be a burden. Sheila compiles but feels uncomfortable with her short skirt. Meanwhile, Gaara tells Yoko tales of Playboy Schneider, who had many lovers over 400 years. He mentions a special disciple of Schneider who hasn't aged in 15 years. Yoko is tied in a hole where Gaara unleashes a special slime that dissolves clothes. The slime jumps on Yoko. Meanwhile, Schneider laughs at Sheila's idea to attack through the front gate and destroy it. Yoko is almost naked, and Gaara and the others watch her. Gaara orders his ninjas to wait and see if their enemy can navigate the Great Maze of Death while they enjoy the show. As they enter the fortress, Schneider and the knights encounter a minotaur. Schneider orders the knights to keep the minotaur busy while he and Sheila climb a ladder. The knights are wiped out in one blow. Schneider uses the lady's first rule to have Sheila climb first, but she slaps him. Fed up, Schneider picks her up and climbs the ladder. Sheila moans as her lower lips rub against Schneider's shoulders. At the top, a demon named Suzuki attacks them. With the first seal broken, more powerful demons appear. Gaara loosens Yoko's shackles to let her see the fight. She is completely naked. Schneider's spells don't work on Suzuki and he becomes desperate. Suzuki lands a blow on them, but Schneider pushes Sheila aside and takes the hit himself, injuring his shoulder. Sheila attacks Suzuki from behind, distracting him and giving Schneider a chance to attack. Schneider slices Suzuki into pieces, finally defeating him. Sheila teases Schneider for worrying about Yoko and not showing it. Furious, Schneider picks up Sheila and gives her another shoulder massage, biting her thighs to make her regret it. Sheila worries about her reputation since her body is soiled and wonders if Schneider treats Yoko the same way. Schneider puts her down after kissing her thighs one last time. He is tired from using many spells in one day and needs to save energy for Gara. Suddenly, Sheila picks up a sword, but it burns and moves on its own, injuring Schneider. The blade is poisoned. Schneider takes off his clothes and orders Sheila to suck out the poison. While Yoko asks Gara why they want to resurrect the demon god, Gara explains that they want to build one nation under one rule and tame the demon god to let only those who obey alive. Schneider shakes in pain as Sheila sucks out the poison. Schneider pats her head, telling her to hurry. Suddenly, the demonic sword transforms into a demon named Ephre. Schneider grits his teeth, facing yet another challenge. Ephre, furious at being disturbed, vows to make them pay with their lives. Ephre launched a ferocious fire spell at the group, which Schneider, despite being weakened and poisoned, managed to block with sheer determination. His vision blurred, and his body trembled under the strain, but he stood his ground. Meanwhile, Gara continued his pompous lecture on magical knowledge, directing it at a naked Yoko, who sat uncomfortably, clearly not enjoying the situation. Gara explained, with an air of superiority, that Schneider could never defeat Ephre because he was weak against fire. Any spell Schneider cast would only serve to strengthen Ephre's flames. Despite this discouragement, Schneider continued to block Ephre's relentless fiery attacks. Sheila, aware of the dire situation, suggested Schneider use a cold spell to counteract the heat. However, Schneider confessed that he didn't like ice spells and didn't have any in his magical arsenal. Overhearing this, Ephre mocked Schneider for calling himself a wizard without knowing any ice magic. With a sinister grin, Ephre increased the temperature to a scorching 2,000 degrees, and Schneider's barrier began to falter under the intense heat. Desperate and realizing the imminent danger, Schneider warned Sheila not to leave the barrier and then stepped out to face Ephre directly. The moment he did, Ephre's attack sent him flying backward, crashing into the ground. While this intense battle raged on, Yoko found her mind wondering who the other maiden was that had summoned Schneider. Meanwhile, the knights were navigating the broken walls of the fortress when they encountered rivers of flowing magma. The heat was unbearable, but they pressed on, determined to reach Schneider and provide any assistance they could. Despite the intense heat, Schneider's resilience shocked Ephre. The fire spirit couldn't believe Schneider was still standing, let alone chanting a powerful spell. Schneider, using every ounce of his strength, managed to harness Ephre's own flames, creating an even more potent fire spell. The spell collided with Ephre, landing a devastating blow and knocking him down. Defeated, Ephre reverted to his sword form, acknowledging Schneider as his new master. The ninjas observing the battle were left in awe, stunned by Ephre's unexpected defeat. With the battle against Ephre won, Schneider turned his attention to the wall Gara was hiding behind. With a mighty swing, he smashed it, revealing Gara holding the naked Yoko. Furious at seeing Yoko in such a state, Schneider demanded her immediate return. Gara, reminiscing about his glory days when he commanded millions and nearly conquered the world, taunted Schneider. He claimed Schneider had no chance of winning due to his exhaustion from casting so many spells. Schneider, enraged and feeling a deep sense of protectiveness over Yoko, especially since he hadn't seen her naked himself, was called a pervert by Yoko. Returning to the confrontation, Gara challenged Schneider to a duel to prove his strength after 15 years. Schneider was initially thrown back by Gara's powerful attack but managed to dodge subsequent strikes with agility. Sheila quickly covered Yoko with a cloth, and Yoko realized Sheila was the maiden who had lifted the seal. Determined to protect his friends, Schneider began casting another spell. Gara charged and brutally cut off Schneider's arm, but Schneider, with incredible fortitude, persisted. He disarmed Gara and threw him away. Both warriors, realizing the gravity of their battle, prepared for a final, decisive showdown. Sheila, watching with sorrow, saw Schneider fighting fiercely for Yoko. Gara, playing mind games, lied about torturing Yoko with slime and ogling her naked body, trying to enrage Schneider. Yoko protested in embarrassment, but Schneider's anger only grew. Gara's false stories of Yoko's purity spurred Schneider to chant a legendary spell, causing the building to crumble around them. The ground shook and walls fell, but Schneider's determination did not waver. After the fierce battle, Gaara and Schneider began talking casually, with Gaara accusing Schneider of cheating by reattaching his arm. Schneider retorted that it wasn't a manga with foreshadowing, and Gaara's fabricated story had only fueled his power. Admitting he liked Gaara, Schneider saved Gaara's pet dragon, Lars, with Sheila's help. Gaara, acknowledging his defeat, surprised Sheila with his unexpected care for others. Yoko hugged Schneider, thanking him profusely for saving her. However, when Schneider commented on her no longer being a pure, Yoko's fury ignited. She punched Schneider, calling him a pervert and vulgar, much to Gaara's amusement, who enjoyed the scene of the self-proclaimed strongest wizard being beaten. Their victory celebration was short-lived as the knights rejoiced, only for Gaara to inform them that their kingdom was currently under attack. The knights were left stunned by the news, their joy turning into shock and urgency. Schneider, however, remained calm. Lars, the pet dragon, spoke to him, revealing that he was Schneider's old friend from 15 years ago. This revelation brought a mix of emotions for Schneider, but he knew they had more pressing matters to attend to. The battle was far from over, and new challenges awaited them all. Kalsu learns that the ninja fortress has fallen and that Gaara has betrayed them. Kalsu can't believe it, but he still considers the possibility that Gaara might be a victim of Schneider's schemes. He sends Arch's Ni to attack Metallicana, confident that Ni, who is merciless even to her own subordinates, won't fall for Schneider's tricks. The Meta army continues to struggle against the army of monsters. When Meta sends a messenger to call for a truce, Ni orders the messenger to be killed and the corpse returned. Shortly after, Ni receives an order from Kalsu himself to kill Dark Schneider. Ni, who cannot believe Gaara's betrayal, returns to her camp, removes her heavy metal armor, and is revealed to be a dark elf. She falls asleep and starts dreaming about Dark Schneider. In her dream, Schneider comments on how Ni hasn't changed in 15 years, attributing it to her elven blood. He recalls finding her as a child, separated from her tribe. Ni, furious since they are now enemies, resents Schneider's advances. Schneider, being a notorious pervert, unzips her clothing, revealing her massive and perfect abs. He begins fondling her, making her moan and beg him to stop. Despite her anger, Ni gently holds his hand before delivering a nose-breaking punch to his face. Enraged, Ni confronts Schneider about his betrayal, accusing him of cheating by creating a group of girls behind her back. She kicks him like a football and attacks him with lightning magic. Waking up, Ni is infuriated and orders one of her 3 sorcerer generals, Shaunari, to kill Dark Schneider with her power. Meanwhile, Lars and Schneider are walking through the jungle. Lars warns Schneider about the traps they might face after Schneider sets Ni on fire. Lars continues teasing Schneider for being in real trouble, which prompts Schneider to knock Lars down with one kick. Schneider questions why Lars is even following him when he could have left with Gaara or Yoko. Lars admits he saw Schneider sneaking out and can't leave an evil bastard alone. Schneider lets Lars live out of pity for his current form, threatening that if Lars had shown up in his true form, Schneider would have torn him apart. Suddenly, they hear a loud scream from a girl running from a spider. Lars warns Schneider about a possible trap, but Schneider jumps in to destroy the spider. As the spider vanishes, Schneider finds a magic talisman controlling it, indicating the user is nearby. The girl, with huge breasts, catches Schneider's lustful eye. The girl, who turns out to be Shaunari, offers her house for Schneider to rest. While Schneider seems calm, Lars senses something evil brewing in Schneider's mind. After feasting on dinner, Schneider is asleep when Shaunari enters his room, wearing only a cloth. She shyly hops onto the bed. Despite Lars's warnings, Schneider's lust overpowers his reason. He starts kissing and undressing her, only to notice the armor marks on her body. Shaun suddenly places a talisman on his back, summoning the spider monster that grapples Schneider. Shaun mocks Schneider for falling into her trap, explaining the talisman prevents him from using magic. She reveals her true self and that she was sent by Ni. As the spider begins chewing on Schneider's torso, she doesn't realize the real Schneider is watching from behind. Schneider had used an illusion from the start, knowing her plan. He calmly enjoys the view as she tries to put another talisman, which sets off by itself. The illusion ends with Schneider playing with her, making her fall for him. Lars wakes up and accuses Schneider of being pornographic. The next day, as Schneider prepares to leave, Shaun warns him about Ni's fury. Despite her efforts to stop him, Schneider continues his journey. Lars receives another kick to the jaw for questioning Schneider's actions. Ni is informed of Shaun's defeat and disappearance. She expects Shaun to fall for Schneider and is furious that Schneider sleeps with anyone. The lustful bastard continues his hunt for good girls. He arrives in a town and sees women turned to stone. His next opponent is the Nordic legend, Medusa. Suddenly, another of Ni's sorcerers, Kai, appears before him. Kai, a pretty boy, stands in front of Schneider, attacking him with an army of orcs. Lars panics, while Schneider, ever the pervert, asks a ridiculous question in such a hostile situation. Who is more handsome, Kai or Schneider? Lars's answer earns him a kick. Schneider burns the horde of orcs with one of his spells and starts boasting about his greatness, beauty, and elegance while belittling Kai. Everyone watching, including Lars, knows that Schneider is an incurable idiot. Kai shatters Schneider with multiple slashes, but the real Schneider is standing behind him. Lars warns Schneider about Kai's hurricane sword style, which is more dangerous than Gaara's swordplay. Schneider pulls a trick, using a damned spell when Kai isn't watching. This protagonist has no warrior honor and laughs mockingly at Kai. Little does he know that Kai can also use illusions. Kai appears behind Schneider, pointing his sword at Schneider's neck and asking where Shaun is and if she has betrayed Nie. Kai cannot believe that Shaun would betray them and disappear suddenly. Schneider is amazed to see that Shaun truly fell in love with him. He starts boasting about how he tasted every bit of her body, infuriating Kai to attack him. Schneider blocks with Ephre's sword, shattering Kai's sword with one blow and revealing Kai's true gender, female. Schneider's hopes rise upon seeing another pure. Kai, a hardcore feminist who believes men are weak, has never been defeated by anyone except Nie. Kai charges up her spell sword and attacks Schneider with a lightning strike that will turn him to stone. Schneider worries about his statue, which he thinks will be beautiful, while Kai believes it will be a piece of shit. Schneider taunts Kai, saying the only reason she belittles weaker men and denies being a woman but a warrior is that she's obsessed with being a woman. He asks her about the counterspell, which makes Kai laugh because only Nie, with her high ancient magic, can awaken it. Schneider starts panicking as he turns into stone. He regrets his pose, his stupidity amusing both Lars and Kai. Kai wants to end Schneider for messing with Shaun's purity. The spell is about to hit Schneider when a ritual spider blocks it. Shaun has come to save Schneider. Shaun tries to reason with Kai, but Kai rejects her, saying love is blind. Shaun tells Kai she believes Schneider is a more worthy leader than Kalsu and Nie. Schneider, being a scumbag, asks Shaun if she wants more of his sausage and starts ogling her armor-less body. Shaun decides to protect Kai by betraying Kai, but Kai is too strong. Suddenly, Schneider starts shattering the stone, breaking free from the magic. He stands caring for no one but himself. Kai's attack doesn't work on Schneider now. Schneider attacks Kai, only destroying her clothes. Kai has one last card up her sleeve. She summons a cicatrice, revealing that the statues were all it was doing. If Schneider is attacked by the monster, he won't return to normal. Schneider's forearm turns to stone. He finds out how Kai is controlling the beast. Suddenly, the wind changes and the crystal Kai is using to control the cicatrice shatters, leaving the monster uncontrolled and attacking Kai. Schneider jumps in to save her. Kai tells him to kill her if he doesn't, the monster will kill him. Kai is nearly knocked down when Schneider picks her up in his arms. Schneider starts melting Kai's stone heart by removing her clothes to suck the poison out, making her moan uncontrollably. Kai is out of breath and blushing from Schneider's compliments. She warns him about his last opponent, the third Sorcerer General. Schneider orders Shaun to take care of Kai before bidding farewell to his bitch. Kai finally understands what Shaun is trying to tell her. That night, Schneider starts acting weirdly, demanding to do laundry. Lucian's personality is getting stronger. Suddenly, Schneider turns back to Lucian, asking Lars about Yoko. Yoko is on her way to find Schneider, while Metallicana continues to struggle against enemies. Gaara shows up with his ninja army to help Metallicana against the army of monsters. Lucian found Yoko bathing under a waterfall. The curious child quickly recognized her, but Yoko, delighted to see Lucian, ran towards him and gave him a gentle hug. Suddenly, knights appeared from nowhere, intending to check on Yoko but ended up embarrassing her. As they feasted on dinner, Yoko couldn't stop talking about Lucian. Their mission was complete, but the knights were puzzled by the true nature of the legendary Dark Schneider. Lars, who was also with Lucian, was recognized by Yoko. The knights were wary, thinking it might be a trap, but Yoko assured them that she sensed no evil in the dragon. They found it suspicious that Lars, the dragon, resembled Sheila's elder brother, who had turned into a dragon warrior 15 years ago while fighting Schneider. People had thought Lars was killed, but no one actually knew what had happened. Meanwhile, Count Diaman, the third general sorcerer, had gathered many girls from his village. Confident in his abilities, he believed he wouldn't lose to Schneider, whom he considered an equal to Nie. He needed the unused girls to strengthen his magic. Other unused hunters were also capturing girls for the Count. One night, Yoko suddenly sensed an evil aura. A werewolf, one of the unused hunters, was after Yoko. Schneider woke up when the werewolf began attacking the knights. He dared the filthy dog to lay a paw on Yoko. The werewolf panicked upon seeing Schneider's aura but knocked down Lucian's weak body and started beating him. Yoko was worried about Lucian when Schneider woke up again and gave the dog a severe beating, nearly killing him with a venom spell. The wolf begged for his life, calling Count's name. Schneider tortured the werewolf to reveal the Count's plan. The werewolf confirmed Schneider's theory of the Count's greed for power before being crushed by Schneider's foot. Yoko started lecturing Lucian and suddenly asked about Kai Harn and Shaunari, whom Lucian had mentioned while fighting the werewolf. Count Diaman, watching from atop a cliff, discovered Lucian and Schneider's true identity. He believed he had a chance of victory since Schneider had not fully awakened. The Count jumped in front of Lucian and Yoko with his army. Schneider fell asleep again, leaving Lucian to face the Count. The Count seized everyone, encaging Lucian. He had also captured Kai and Shaun, and the Count taunted them about their past. Kai, calling the Count a monster, broke free from his shackles. Shaun and Kai attacked with their spells, but their magic had no effect on the vampire's body. The Count healed quickly. Kai took out a cross and garlic to scare the Count, causing him to scream in agony and mock Kai's foolishness. The Count bit into Kai's shoulder, savoring the blood and complimenting its taste. Kai warned the Count that Schneider would destroy him, but the Count laughed, revealing that Schneider had not fully awakened and was encaged within Lucian's body. Lars realized how Geo had sealed Schneider in Lucian's body during his reincarnation, while the Count laughed in his ugly voice. Lucian was watching Shaun suffer from above when suddenly Schneider woke up with a raging scream that echoed through the battlefield. Meanwhile, Gaara's army had turned the tables on the monsters, displaying incredible skill and ferocity. Gaara and his soldiers continued to slice through goblins and orcs with their ninja tools, their movements a blur of deadly precision. Gaara was wondering where the perverted bastard was at that moment, while the monsters kept rushing towards him, seemingly endless in their numbers. Lucian, seeing the chaos unfold, started crying because he and Schneider were both conscious at the same time, creating a tumultuous internal struggle. The Count, seeing his opportunity, knew it was too late for Schneider to stop him now. He began running after Shaun, his eyes filled with a predatory hunger to suck her blood, unaware that Shaun wasn't pure. His desire for her blood was mixed with a grotesque lust, making him run after her with a desperate need. Suddenly, Yoko struck the vampire's face with her left foot in a powerful kick. Instead of knocking him down, it angered him so much that he retaliated by knocking her out with his right foot. Lucian, who was watching all this from his cage, couldn't bear it anymore and let Schneider wake up fully. Schneider broke the cage with a loud roar that resonated across the battlefield. The ugly vampire peed his pants when he saw Schneider coming for him with a murderous fury. Everyone, including the Count's minions, was terrified of Schneider's presence. Schneider was livid at the Count not only for imprisoning his women but also for the grave mistake of kicking the woman who would carry the babies of the legendary wizard. Yoko woke up, feeling completely embarrassed and fed up with Schneider's stupidity and bravado. Shaun couldn't believe what she had just heard. The situation seemed to grow more surreal by the moment. Schneider started chanting a spell, his voice a deep, resonant echo that filled the air, making the Count upgrade his level of fear from pee to poop. Lightning and ice spells crackled and flashed around him, aimed at the Count. While the Count initially acted like he was struggling, he suddenly burst into laughter, mocking Schneider for being called a legendary wizard but failing to cause him any harm. Lars, seeing the Count's resilience, started panicking, realizing this ugly vampire was far more formidable than they had anticipated. The Count began charging up his noble secret magic, his body glowing with a dark energy. He shot lasers from his eyes, turning Schneider into what looked like dead meat. Everyone, including Yoko, was shocked and horrified at this sight. The Count then ordered his men to capture the remaining pure. Shaun, determined to protect Kai, used her talisman magic to ward off the Count's men. The Count continued to mock Schneider for being dead meat and laughed maniacally, only to be stunned when he saw Schneider standing behind him. The Count was perplexed because the one he had shot with his laser was actually his servant Giotto in disguise. Schneider continued to laugh, a sinister sound that filled the air, telling the Count how much damage he had already done to his nervous system with his lightning attack while he was off guard celebrating his strength. The Count, now unable to shoot his spells accurately, became even more enraged. Mad with fury, the Count started shooting lasers wildly in every direction, wiping out most of his own men in the process. Schneider, walking calmly amidst the chaos, boasted about his beauty and physique. He caught one of the Count's magical attacks and redirected it towards the wall behind the Count. As the wall crumbled, a bright ray of sunlight streamed in, falling directly on the Count's body and turning him into mere dust. Schneider stood beside the Count's ashes, knowing it wasn't over yet. Suddenly, a giant bat rose from the ashes. It was the Count, reborn in a monstrous form. Schneider knocked the bat down with a powerful uppercut and tore it apart from his wings. He knew everything about the Count and started casting a spell on the torn part of his wing. Schneider put a parasite in the Count's body that would make him obey every command Schneider gave. If the Count ever denied any of Schneider's commands, he would die instantly and painfully. The Count, now thoroughly defeated, left the scene crying for his mommy to clean his pants. His minions, seeing their leader's disgrace, ran away in fear of Schneider. Shaun ran towards Schneider, crying out for Kai, desperate and heartbroken. Schneider, however, walked towards Yoko, who was still regaining her senses, and started licking her face while rubbing his hand over her body, a twisted display of dominance. Shaun, in tears, asked Schneider about Yoko and was devastated when she heard Schneider call Yoko the mother of his child. This revelation led to a heated argument between Shaun and Schneider, which only calmed down after Yoko slapped Schneider hard across the face. Meanwhile, the orcs and goblins were no match for Gara, whose battle prowess was unmatched. Kalsu watched the ongoing battle from his mystical globe, cursing Gara and lamenting how Ni's 3 sorcerers had fallen under Dark Schneider's control. Abigail, ever cautious, did not trust Ni and demanded she proves her loyalty by being bound by the same spell Schneider used on the Count. The scene was set for even greater conflicts, with alliances and enmities growing ever more complex. Bound by a powerful spell, Ni faces a dire fate. She will die if she cannot defeat Schneider. Abigail, having lived with Schneider the longest among their group, deeply distrusts Ni. Kalsu is baffled, for the Schneider he once knew was ruthless even towards his allies, yet now Schneider spares his enemies and turns them into allies. Dark Schneider is now their greatest threat, and Kalsu is determined to eliminate him. To this end, Kalsu sends 2 battalions to attack other kingdoms, leaving Ni to deal with Schneider. Abigail knows that Ni cannot break the curse on her, which requires the still beating heart of Dark Schneider. Thus, even if Ni wins, she will die. It's a win-win for Abigail. Mounted on her griffin, Ni sets out to hunt Dark Schneider. Meanwhile, Yoko prepares for her journey as Schneider bids a sweet farewell to the pure Shaun, indulging in some last-minute flirtations. He reassures her with his charm, promising to return, and squeezes her fondly. Yoko also arrives to say goodbye, while Kai receives treatment at the temple to save her from becoming a Draculina. Shaun warns Schneider about Ni's powers, which rival his own. Yoko and Kai then set off on their journey to the temple, with Yoko scolding Schneider not to make any more women cry. As Gara battles the goblin army, Ni suddenly attacks him. Gara had betrayed the 4 divine kings for the thrill of Schneider's plan. Wielding the legendary sword Ragingkin, Ni impresses Gara, who mocks her, suggesting she would join Schneider in a heartbeat if she were honest. Gara uses ranged weapons to distract Ni and appears to cut her in half, but it is only a goblin decoy. Ni then attacks from mid-air, severing Gara's shoulder. The bridge beneath them crumbles from the impact. Ni celebrates her victory too soon, for Gara reappears with multiple clones, laughing eerily like Schneider. Gara removes his armor, deeming it useless against the legendary blade, and unleashes his ultimate technique, Sonic Boom. Ni sees through Gara's speed, realizing he creates the illusion of clones by moving rapidly. Gara's attack shatters Ni's legendary sword, and he laughs, declaring he won't kill her because she is precious to Schneider. Meanwhile, Sheila and the other ministers celebrate their victories but are puzzled by Gara's defection, assuming it was for money. Ni mocks Gara for becoming the kingdom's lapdog. To Gara, Kalsu's plan is pointless, he lives for fun. Ni launches a spell of magic missiles, which Gara deflects. She then attacks with the purple lightning of her half-broken sword, injuring Gara. As she approaches to deliver the final blow, Gara asks if she really intends to kill him. Just as Ni raises her sword, a massive explosion occurs, saving Gara. The explosion was caused by none other than Schneider. Sheila, praying for their kingdom's salvation, looks up and sees Schneider standing atop the statue of their kingdom, a fierce and commanding presence. Gara, still reeling from his close encounter with death, gazes up at Schneider in astonishment. Ni, angered by the interruption, glares at Schneider. "You always have to make a dramatic entrance, don't you?" She spits out. Schneider smirks, his eyes glinting with amusement and a hint of menace. "I couldn't let you have all the fun, Ni. Besides, we have unfinished business." Schneider's presence electrifies the air around them, his aura of power palpable. The soldiers on both sides pause, awestruck and fearful. Ni's griffin, sensing the tension, flaps its wings restlessly. Schneider descends from the statue, each step deliberate and confident. "Gara, you did well holding her off. Now, it's my turn," he says, his voice dripping with authority. Gara, despite his injuries, chuckles. "I did more than hold her off, Schneider, but she's all yours now." With a final nod, Gara steps back, allowing Schneider to face Ni. Ni tightens her grip on her broken sword, her eyes never leaving Schneider. "You won't win this time, Schneider. The curse ensures it," she says, her voice a mix of determination and desperation. Schneider's smile widens. "We'll see about that, Ni. Curses can be broken, and so can you." He raises his hand, summoning a dark, swirling energy. The ground trembles as his power grows, and Ni braces herself for the inevitable clash. As the two prepare to face off, the sky darkens and the winds howl. The fate of kingdoms hangs in the balance, and the final confrontation between Ni and Schneider promises to be a battle of epic proportions. Sheila and the ministers watched from afar, their hope and fear intertwined, knowing that whatever the outcome, their world will never be the same again. The minister started cursing Schneider for destroying the bridge, but Sheila defended him, arguing they were already prepared for a siege. Now, with the gate useless without the bridge, Schneider had killed hundreds of enemies with a single spell. Gara cursed Schneider for his reckless attack, while Ni felt a pang of sadness seeing Schneider with Yoko. Suddenly, Schneider disappeared from his spot and reappeared behind Ni, wrapping his arm around her. He began to play with her, biting her ears and kissing her neck, giving her immense pleasure. Ni fell to the ground as Schneider continued his advances. Just as Schneider was about to kiss her, Ni remembered a spell. She shook off Schneider and called her griffin to retreat. Schneider was shocked by Ni's sudden change. Ni cried as she retreated, vowing to kill Schneider. That night, Schneider mocked Gara for losing to a woman. Gara, trying to justify his failure, told Schneider that she was on a different level compared to years ago. Yoko wondered what Ni meant to Schneider. While serving food in the cafeteria, everyone complimented Yoko's hard work. Yoko gave Schneider only a few drops of soup, which made him mad. They started arguing, with Yoko scolding him for molesting Ni and asking if he had done this to anyone else. Schneider couldn't remember his own body count. As Yoko walked close to Schneider, he started smelling her, confirming she was a pure. Schneider earned himself a slap and a thrown spatula. Gio asked Baba the wizard to learn more about the seal placed on Schneider, as Schneider had broken the seal multiple times during his battles against the generals. Baba confirmed that Schneider's spiritual power had grown immensely, and that the seal was in perfect condition. Baba concluded that Schneider had begun to develop feelings of love, which temporarily lifted the seal. Baba also foresaw Schneider's future, seeing his dead body with his heart torn out. Yoko thought about her feelings towards Schneider while changing Gara's bandages. Gara told Yoko about Ni and Schneider. As Yoko left the room, she saw Sheila and Schneider together. Schneider laughed when Sheila mentioned Baba's prophecy. What disappointed Schneider more was that he thought Sheila had finally come to let him have his way with her. Yoko overheard their conversation. Baba had also seen the intense hatred in Ni's heart for Schneider. Sheila begged Schneider to avoid fighting Ni because she was worried about him and didn't want him to die. But Schneider only laughed, thinking Sheila believed he saved the kingdom out of kindness when all he wanted was to conquer the world. Yoko sighed, having heard his plans for world domination many times before. Baba's orb began to shine brightly, indicating that Ni was near the castle. Schneider started to take advantage of Sheila while she begged him to stop. Yoko gritted her teeth, but as she was about to enter the room, she heard Sheila agree to have her way with Schneider if he would avoid the fight with Ni. Ni, meanwhile, began summoning the power of the raging sword. As Yoko entered the room and threw Lars at Schneider, shifting his focus to the window, Schneider saw the change in the raging elemental spirits, indicating the presence of a powerful wizard. Ni's Mega Death spell crushed half of the castle. Schneider saved Yoko and Sheila from the falling debris. Both Schneider and Lars were shocked at Ni's use of Mega Death. Sheila tried to stop Schneider, but he was determined to fight. Suddenly, Schneider asked Yoko for a 500 yen coin. Ni appeared in the sky, challenging Schneider to a fight. The odds were against him. Schneider used the celestial flight spell to fly into the sky. Ni charged his sword again and summoned a lightning circle that absorbed the enemy's magic. Schneider couldn't use magic in the battle and fell to the ground. Ni started attacking, and Schneider defended with spells, but they were absorbed by the lightning ball. Schneider couldn't fight a sword wielder barehanded. Suddenly, Ephre appeared from the sky and landed behind Schneider. Schneider had almost forgotten about Ephre. Ephre turned back into a fire sword, which Schneider picked up. With one slash, Schneider killed the griffin, leveling the playing field. Ni crumbled to the ground, making Schneider fall, and then jumped down to land in front of him. Ni was impressed by Schneider's new sword and his ability to tame the fire demon Ephre. The clash of legendary swords was fearsome. Gara realized that even though Schneider wielded a stronger sword, he was still a wizard. Despite his immense physical strength, Schneider couldn't win a sword fight against a skilled swordswoman like Ni. Ni seemed destined to win with such odds in her favor. The duel wouldn't last long since the powerful swords would quickly decide the outcome. Both finally decided to start the duel. Ni attacked with her strongest move, shocking Gara beyond belief. Ephre overpowered the raging Guardian, plunging both swords into the lightning orb, which finally disappeared. Schneider let his guard down, cursing Ephre for the reckless stunt. Cheater Ni, without missing the opportunity, caught Schneider off guard and landed a direct hit on his head. Schneider's body started glowing as he fell. As the magic-absorbing orb vanished, Schneider's protective barrier returned to shield him. Even in such a grave situation, perverted Schneider didn't miss the chance and spanked Ni's who was above him. Schneider woke up and started yelling at Ni, telling her she was not his daughter anymore. Ni retorted that she never thought of him as her father. Both started casting the same spell and ascended above the ground. The spells clashed on equal ground. Schneider began casting the Exodus spell, and Gara was confused, wondering if Schneider was really trying to kill Ni. Ni also started casting the same spell. The spells clashed, but Schneider remembered his time with Ni and hesitated. A huge explosion split the sky, sending Schneider nowhere. Gara decided to jump in to save Schneider, but his ninjas stopped him. Ni was the last one standing, even though she was confused about what had just happened. Yoko still believed Schneider would return, knowing it was his habit to repay the money he borrowed. Schneider emerged from the ground with a massive explosion, sneering at everyone around him and calling them weak, lowly commoners. He boasted loudly about being the brilliant and beautiful hero chosen by the gods, his wicked laughter echoing in the air. As he tried to act strong, blood suddenly gushed from his head, causing him to collapse to his knees, and his bravado shattered. Ni, enraged by his arrogance, started charging her attack. Schneider, in a desperate move, confessed his love for her, hoping to catch her off guard. This only fueled Ni's fury as she remembered how Schneider had professed his love to every girl he met. Summoning her thunder spirits, she prepared to strike, while Schneider countered by calling forth fire spirits, matching her power. Their duel was a breathtaking spectacle, leaving Gara and the others in awe. Schneider, feeling cornered, attempted to retreat for a moment. He questioned why Ni was fighting so hard for someone else's vision of an ideal society. Ni mocked him, accusing him of having nothing but a filthy harem of purities. She declared she was willing to die for her cause, while Schneider cynically believed hate and discrimination were natural human traits. These memories of the cruelty she faced from the elves for being a half-elf only intensified her anger and resolve. As the battle raged on, Ni's emotions began to overwhelm her. Schneider, seeing an opportunity, took her hand and reminded her he had been there for her when no one else was, for over 100 years. Ni's mind flashed back to 15 years ago when she and Schneider were about to share a kiss, only to be interrupted by an accursed spell. In her fury, she threw him to the ground, her nails turning a sinister purple. Abigail, watching through a magical orb, laughed wickedly, knowing that when Ni's nails turned red, it signified her complete betrayal. Schneider tried to help Ni, but she pushed him away, launching into a tirade about his seduction of hundreds of women. Their fight intensified, with Ni relentlessly attacking Schneider. As Ni remembered their childhood together, Schneider, bloodied and struggling, tried to get back on his feet. Ni continued to pummel him, wanting him to stay down so she could end the battle. Yoko, observing the scene, sensed no evil aura from Ni anymore and realized she was just a heartbroken child crying her heart out. Ni's thunder spirits, however, went out of control, attacking Yoko and Sheila. While Yoko remained unharmed by the explosion, Sheila fell unconscious. The thunder spirits then turned on Ni and Schneider. Ni quickly blocked them with a barrier, but her nails continued changing color, reflecting her inner turmoil. Gara, watching from a distance, was confused by Ni's shifting intentions, while Yoko also felt something was off. Ni began squeezing her finger with a spell as she and Schneider prepared their destructive spells. Baba and Geo appeared on the scene, observing the two brilliant wizards intent on destroying each other. Baba believed the duel's outcome was obvious. Both began chanting Schneider's unfinished spell of ultimate mass destruction. The resulting explosion was blinding, almost overwhelming everyone present. Schneider's spell proved slightly stronger, pushing Ni back, while the pain from the accursed spell also held her back. Yoko saw Ni crying and yelled at Gara to stop them, but there was no turning back once the spell had been cast. Ni, feeling unbearable pain, wanted Schneider to hold her when she died. Lucian suddenly spoke to Schneider, revealing that Ni's suffering was worse than death, and blamed him for not noticing it. Schneider finally saw the cursed nail on Ni's hand and realized it was Abigail's doing. He screamed, cursing Abigail. The Halloween spell vanished as Schneider teleported it away. Standing before Ni, Schneider did the unthinkable. He stabbed himself in the heart and pulled it out, sacrificing himself to set Ni free from the cursed spell. Ni, shocked and overwhelmed, watched as Schneider's life ebbed away. His sacrifice struck a chord deep within her, and for the first time, she saw past her anger and pain. She saw the man who had stood by her side for over a century, who had shared her joys and sorrows. As Schneider fell to the ground, Ni rushed to his side, cradling him in her arms. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered apologies and confessions of her own. In his final moments, Schneider smiled, his eyes filled with a mix of pain and relief. He had freed Ni from the curse and, in doing so, had found his own redemption. The battlefield fell silent as the thunder spirits dissipated and the flames died down. Yoko, Gara, and the others watched in stunned silence, realizing the depth of the bond between Ni and Schneider. As Ni held Schneider's lifeless body, a profound sense of loss washed over her. She vowed to honor his memory by continuing the fight for a better world, but with a newfound understanding of love, sacrifice, and the complexity of human nature. That concludes the anime recap. As always, if you enjoyed, let me know down below and I'm out.